I didn't know anything had dropped until my phone started vibrating off the damn table. 3 missed calls from my brother. 2 texts from a producer I hadn't worked with in over a year. And then the ping of my name tagged in a video with over 600,000 views in 6 hours. I clicked. There she was. Amanda. Hair tied up loose like she always did when she wanted to look soft but rehearsed. Eyes just teary enough to blur, not enough to break. The title read. I stayed silent long enough. The captions were already rolling. The comments faster. She said she debated doing this. Said she tried to keep it respectful. Said she didn't want to hurt anyone. Then she said my name. Not directly at first, just the man who helped me early on, the one who said he supported me but slowly twisted it, the one who tried to ride my platform when he realized I was going somewhere he couldn't follow. She never showed proof. Never needed to. She just spoke slowly, carefully, her voice trembling at all the right moments. She described a controlling collaborator, a man who inserted himself into her work, someone who manipulated the audience through her. And then she said something that made everything go silent around me. He never cared about the mission. He cared about being part of my spotlight. The comment section lit up. People posted timestamps, theories, edits from our earliest podcast episodes where my name used to be mentioned, now scrubbed. The new fans didn't care about history, they only saw her now, sitting in soft lighting, choking up as she accused me of hijacking her brand, her voice, her success. I didn't hit pause. I didn't call anyone. I didn't text back. I just watched her lie smoothly, confidently, using a platform I helped her build, sitting in front of a microphone I bought, using phrases I had written into her earliest scripts, while the intro music that played behind her voice. I produced it. I clicked into the video description. She'd included donation links. Merch. A new episode dropping next week called When Empowerment Gets Exploited. I scrolled. Someone had pinned a comment. I always knew there was something off about him. She was too good for that energy. My inbox was already full of media requests. My name trending with the word narcissist. And the thumbnail on her video? A close-up photo. Headphones around her neck. Eyes fierce. Backlit with amber tones. I took that shot. She used it without asking. I didn't post. Didn't defend. Didn't explain. I backed up the folder. The one with the drafts. The contracts. The original clips. The full edits. She'd spent 9 minutes implying I'd stolen something from her. But the truth? The truth was still sitting in my hard drive, timestamped and signed, and when I dropped it, it wouldn't make a sound. It would land like a gavel. The podcast was her face, but it was my foundation. She came to me with fire, no question, voice sharp, politics loud, opinions aimed like weapons, but none of it had shape until we sat in my apartment one night and mapped it out on a legal pad she borrowed from my drawer and never returned. We recorded the first 10 episodes in a storage closet I'd cleared out, lined with foam from my old studio gear. I edited all of it on my personal rig, built her intro from scratch, registered the domain name, bought the hosting plan with my credit card. And when the early numbers trickled in, just a few dozen downloads per week, I was the one who kept telling her it would pick up if we stayed consistent. And it did. After the 4th month, the interviews started rolling. Writers, activists, mid-tier influencers looking to say something loud through someone else's microphone. I sourced the guests. I wrote the questions. When a few told her she was too academic, I restructured her show notes so they hit more like conversation than lecture. She posted the clips, sure, her face, her voice, her quotes. But the camera she used? Mine. The framing? My setup. Every thumbnail in her most watched playlist? Exported from my editing timeline. We started building a brand around her, not just a podcast, but a persona. The girl who didn't back down. The voice who spoke for those who couldn't. She wore the words like armor. I packaged them like a product. When sponsors showed up, she funneled the deals through a shared email account we created together. She signed as the host. I signed as editorial director. Not once did I take a bigger cut. And then the shift began. Once she passed a certain number, she started closing loops. Took over the admin logins. Moved the merch back into a new provider. Changed passwords, one at a time. I didn't press her on it. Thought maybe she needed space to grow it her way, until the episode we recorded in January disappeared completely. The one where she credited me directly, said the project was something she couldn't have built without the guy behind the mic. Gone. Scrubbed from the feed. Not archived. Deleted. No notice. No heads up. A week later, Her bio changed from built by to built by belief. She started calling herself the sole creator. And then came the new Instagram bio. Self-made, self-led, self-healed. Like the man who sat across from her on the floor with a condenser mic between us didn't even exist. I didn't argue, didn't post, didn't leak the numbers. But I took note. Every file, every change, every post that rewrote history, screenshotted, cataloged, timestamped. She thought I was holding on to the past, but I was building the record she thought would never come back. And the day she painted me as a parasite, that was the day she gave me the excuse to show the world exactly who built the platform she used to burn me. 2 weeks after Amanda's video dropped, I went looking for our early episodes, not to rewatch or to reminisce, but to confirm a suspicion I couldn't shake. The feed was still live, still active, still hers. But the first 20 episodes were gone. Not marked as archived. Not released. Just removed without explanation. Those were the episodes where she mentioned me by name. Where we laughed between takes, talked over each other, corrected each other's stats mid-recording. The ones where I was credited as producer in the outro she now claims she always wrote alone. Her followers didn't notice. New fans only saw the polished uploads, the sharp intros, the solo voice rising over royalty-free music. They didn't know the early days, the guest list I pulled from my contacts, the edits I cleaned up at 2 a.m. while she was asleep on the couch 5 feet away. What tipped me off was a tweet. A small one. Someone asked her where the older interviews went. She replied, "Those episodes don't reflect the standard I hold myself to today. Growth means curating what stays in your legacy." 3 days later, I received a cease and desist. Not from Amanda directly, of course, from a law firm that specializes in brand protection. The language was clean, professional, polite. They alleged I was creating confusion around authorship by referring to myself in interviews as her co-founder. They advised I discontinue use of any language that implies creative control, brand partnership, or editorial authorship. And they added that continuing would be viewed as intentional misrepresentation with reputational impact. The letter included no proof, no examples, no quotes, just pressure. I didn't reply. Instead, I opened the original shared drive, the one we used before her team moved everything over to Notion and Slack and Basecamp and whatever tool helped her pretend her roots were cleaner than they were. Inside that drive, the podcast pitch deck I built from scratch, the one-pager we sent to sponsors, the contract she signed naming me as the sole owner of post-production, the PayPal exports from when she reimbursed me for hosting, the dated folder of her first logo design, the rough sketch I cleaned into a brand, and one audio clip, a raw recording. She's off mic. We're setting up. She says, "I know I wouldn't even be doing this without you. Like, who else would do this much work for free?" I saved that file under a new name. memory_hole_proof_1.wave. No edits. No filters. No commentary. Just her, telling the truth, back when it didn't feel dangerous to say out loud. Her voice was the brand, but my words were the blueprint. Amanda built an image of fearlessness, the unapologetic voice of the ignored, the woman who called out power and didn't flinch. Every media outlet repeated that phrase. Her fans wore it on t-shirts. It was stitched into her banner art, scrolled across the bottom of her podcast intro, whispered in sponsor promos, even included on the back of her book. Calling out power. Never flinching. It sounded good, but it didn't come from her. I wrote it during a brainstorming session 2 years ago when we were pitching segment themes to a local podcast network. The original file sat in a shared Google Doc labeled Brand DNA, March. Next to that phrase, in my comments, I'd written, "This could be our tagline. Strong, punchy, works for both social and merch." She liked it. She never changed it. She just started saying it was hers. I didn't care then. Didn't think it mattered. But it kept happening. Episode intros began pulling from my outlines word for word, not paraphrased, not evolved, just stripped of the parts that referenced me. Phrases like cultural accountability, rage doesn't equal clarity, platforms don't change systems, people do, all lifted from my show docs, all stamped with her voice in every clip she posted. One line in particular showed up everywhere. "The algorithm doesn't reward truth. It rewards performance." That was mine. I wrote it in frustration after one of our early uploads flopped. She laughed when I said it, then told me, "That's the hook for next week." She was right. It worked. It stuck. She used it in interviews, newsletters, Patreon posts, and press packets. Said it was something that came to her after a long walk, thinking about what silence cost women. I found the original waveform on my hard drive, dated, labeled, raw. I wasn't bitter about it when she first claimed it. But now, after the public accusations, the silence, the branding, it became evidence. I wasn't trying to reclaim credit. I wasn't trying to humiliate her. But if she was going to tell the internet I clung to her fame, then I had to show the public that what she was holding on to was built on words I gave her, without asking for anything back. I opened a folder called Proof of Authorship. Each file matched a quote she was known for. Each file was timestamped, linked to writing logs, edit timelines, and raw sessions where my voice, not hers, read those lines aloud for the first time. The brand she said I tried to steal? I already owned the parts she thought nobody could trace. Amanda signed with Syndicate Collective 3 weeks after the accusations went viral. Big deal. Big press. New visuals. New title. New colors. Same voice. Same message. They gave her a Thursday morning slot and an extended contract with that spots built into the episode outline. The brand was tighter now, polished in the way corporate likes. Controversy wrapped in empowerment, outrage rebranded as thought leadership. She filmed a promo shoot in New York. I saw the photos in a trade article someone forwarded me. Amanda in a blazer, sitting on a bar stool, black background, arms crossed with the tagline, "Your voice isn't too loud. They're just too afraid." I wrote that in a notebook during a train ride to DC. She took the photo while I slept. No credit. I didn't post anything. Still hadn't said her name publicly. Still hadn't denied or confirmed a single comment. The files sat where I left them, organized, verified, waiting. Then the leak happened. It wasn't me. I hadn't sent a thing. But one of the guests from our old episodes, a woman we helped gain her first platform, posted a screen recording. Split screen. On the left, Amanda, mid-episode, speaking her usual line. This platform was built from the ground up, by me for you. No one gave me a single thing. On the right, an unlisted YouTube link. Old footage. Amanda off mic, laughing, throwing her hands up. God, Sean, I don't know how you do all this setup without losing your mind. I'd have quit after the first crash. Heard my voice off screen. That's why you've got me. I crash-proofed the chaos. The post was up for 10 minutes. Long enough to get clipped. Long enough for Reddit to grab it. Long enough for 3 brand sponsors to call Syndicate and pull out. Amanda released a statement through her new team. It read like legal tape. Misleading, selectively edited, violates NDAs, a targeted attack on her growth as a creator. Didn't matter. A producer from Syndicate called me. Tried to dance around the issue. We're just trying to make sure there's no misunderstanding about authorship. We want to respect all creative parties involved. You mean you want to know how much I'm willing to let go without speaking? We'd prefer to keep it amicable. Then tell your client to stop cutting her past out like it won't bleed. I hung up. Didn't threaten. Didn't push. Just uploaded a single document to my website, nothing flashy. Metadata, archived versions of the show bio, original podcast contracts. No commentary. Title. For context. That night, her new episode was pulled before it went live. The rebrand failed. The merch store closed. And Amanda's next podcast didn't drop on Thursday. It didn't drop at all. I didn't record an intro. No title card, no watermark, no background music. Just a quiet upload to a burner YouTube channel with 0 subscribers and 1 public post. The video opened cold. Screen capture of a hard drive folder. File tree open on the left. Each folder labeled, timestamped, and numbered. No clickbait. No editing flair. The cursor moved slow. First file. Original outline for Amanda's show proposal. Metadata visible. Created by me. Edits tracked. Second. Early brand pitch deck. Her handwriting on the printout. A yellow sticky note stuck to the corner. Your brain is the engine. I just drive. Next. An audio clip. Rough mic bleed. Amanda off mic, speaking fast. Can you reword this? It sounds preachy. Maybe just say what you said last time about algorithm and performance. Whatever that line was. That one hit. Then the raw recording. My voice, low and tired. The algorithm doesn't reward truth. It rewards performance. No edits. Just the sound of her saying that. Exactly that. The video went on. Screenshots of early sponsorship emails, my name listed on the contracts. A PayPal receipt from when she reimbursed me for hosting, labeled. Podcast backend. You're a wizard. A voicemail, Left at 1:38 a.m. 2 years ago. Timestamped. Archived. Hey, I know I don't say this enough, but this isn't just mine. You built this. You know that, right? Like, I know this thing's gonna go somewhere big, and when it does, just remember I said that. No commentary. No cuts. I let the files play, one by one, like dominoes falling across a silent room. Final shot. A folder titled, Deleted Episodes Recovered. Click. Inside, the full archive she removed from her feed. Her voice. My edits. Joint credits in the outro she told the world never existed. Black screen. 10 seconds of silence. Then a closing caption. I never said I built it alone. I just let her say I didn't. The video ended. I didn't promote it. Didn't post about it. Didn't tweet, tag, or email a single person. But by the end of the day, it had 11,000 views. By the next, 260,000. And by the weekend, someone uploaded it to TikTok, broken into parts, stitched with reactions, reposted by old fans, former collaborators, ex-supporters of hers now saying, "This doesn't even sound like hate. This just sounds like the truth." By Monday, Amanda's pinned video was ratioed. The same one that started it all, her teary speech, her half-named accusations, her carefully trembled voice. The like-to-dislike bar flipped. Comments no longer asked how she was healing. They wanted receipts. Why didn't you mention this Sean guy before the platform took off? Just watched, for context, kind of wild if that's real. Is this why the early episodes are gone? Were you ever going to credit him, or nah? The shift wasn't loud. It wasn't a riot. It was erosion. One subscriber unfollowed. Then 20. Then a thread on Reddit titled, Amanda's timeline doesn't add up. It wasn't posted by Sean. It wasn't linked by him. But every clip, every doc, every quote led back to his silent archive. One of her original guests, a poet who used to call Amanda her gateway to resistance, tweeted, I loved her voice. But you can't build an honest brand on someone else's spine and then call yourself self-made. The comment went viral. 24 hours later, it was deleted. Amanda's response came in the form of a live stream. Not scripted. No music. Just her, sitting on her bedroom floor, visibly tired. I see what's happening online. I see the narratives. And I want to be transparent. There was someone who helped in the beginning. But the truth is, I outgrew that. I had to take ownership of my message, even if some people didn't like that I evolved. She paused, looked straight at the camera. This is what happens when women grow louder. Men get bitter. Her voice didn't shake. But the comment section did. This isn't growth. It's erasure. Show the contracts. Your silence wasn't empowering. It was convenient. He didn't call you out. He just posted facts. Her fan page shut down. Ahmad posted a final message. We're stepping away until Amanda addresses things fully. Some of us joined this community because of who she was. We don't recognize what she's become. She reached out to me. Through a mutual contact. A text chain passed from person to person. The message was short. I think we need to talk. I didn't reply. A week later, a second message. Can we at least clear the air? Still nothing. Then a final one. You win. I hope you're happy. I read it. I locked the phone. Went back to editing the next episode of my channel. Never typed a word back. The first message didn't surprise me. It came through a mutual friend, someone we both used to work with, back when we were still building something worth protecting. Hey, Amanda's asking if you'll meet. Just to talk. No cameras. No PR. I didn't respond. 2 days later, the same friend tried again. She says it's important. That she never meant for it to go this far. I kept working. No post. No statement. I wasn't ignoring her out of spite. I just didn't see the point in answering someone who only tells the truth after it costs them something. Then came the direct message. She sent it from a backup account. Her main was still on damage control, resharing old interviews, trying to pivot back to advocacy, pretending the platform was just evolving, not cracking. But this message was different. I think we should talk. I didn't know how bad it got until people started sending me the links. I didn't know it would hit you like that. You were a big part of the beginning. I never denied that. I stared at the blinking cursor. She was online, waiting. Then the last line came. If you want an apology, I'll give it. Just not here. I archived the thread. Not out of cruelty. Not out of pride. But because there's nothing left to say to someone who only starts telling the truth when silence stops working. A week later, she sent a voice memo. Her tone was softer. No press voice. No showmanship. Just quiet. Sean, I don't know who I became for a while there. I thought I was protecting what I built, but I guess what I really did was torch the part of it that mattered. You never tried to take anything from me. I just couldn't stand the fact that people still thought of you when they looked at what I made. And maybe that's what I couldn't forgive. Not you. That I couldn't erase you. I didn't play it again. Didn't download it. Didn't forward it. Just deleted it. Because her regret wasn't for what she did. It was for the fact that the lie didn't hold. She wasn't sorry I was erased. She was sorry I came back. I launched the other side of the lens 4 weeks after Amanda went quiet. No promo. No teaser. No schedule. Just one upload. 15 minutes. Simple title, Perspective, Episode 1. No intro music. No high-energy cuts. Just my voice, clean, low, steady, breaking down the mechanics of influence, power, and narrative construction. I didn't mention her name. Didn't reference the situation. Didn't acknowledge the fallout. But I did show them how brands are built behind closed doors, how digital trust is sculpted, and how truth can be erased with clean edits and loud hashtags. The audience didn't come fast. The first video capped at 3,200 views in a week. No virality. No spikes. Just slow, steady clicks from the people who weren't looking for drama. They were looking for the architecture behind the image. And that's what I gave them. I broke down algorithms. Explained how language becomes currency. Unpacked why the loudest voice isn't always the most honest, just the most rehearsed. A month in, I had 9,000 subscribers. By the end of the second, 22,000. Emails started coming in from people I'd never met, creators, editors, even some former guests who used to work with Amanda, all saying the same thing. I didn't know someone else was doing the heavy lifting. Now I get it. You're the reason that show used to feel real. I didn't reply to most of them. Didn't need to. I kept uploading. 1 video a week. All stripped down, just like the first, screen captures, process breakdowns, occasional voiceover when context mattered. I didn't talk about the past. I showed people what I was building now. By month 3, someone posted a side-by-side on Twitter, a clip from Amanda's latest attempt to reboot her show, and a line from one of my breakdowns. One of these sounds like truth. The other sounds like performance. It got retweeted 12,000 times in 24 hours. Amanda's reboot lasted 3 episodes. The last one got flagged for reused content. The complaint came from an old account she forgot was still registered in both our names, the one that owned our original content library. I didn't file it out of spite. It just auto-triggered when she lifted the same phrasing, same hook, same metadata I built 2 years ago. The other side of the lens crossed 100,000 subscribers without a single promo. And when YouTube offered me monetization, I declined. Not because I didn't want the money, I just wanted the message to stay clean. Untouched. Undeniable. No sponsorships. No merch. Just truth, laid out by the guy they all thought disappeared. The screen faded into a single photo. Amanda, early days. Hair tied up, hoodie halfway zipped, mic cord tangled between her hands, laughing at something off camera. The framing wasn't perfect. The lighting was soft, natural, unfiltered, real. She wasn't posing. She wasn't speaking. She was just there, raw, unguarded, before the audience arrived, before the feed meant currency. And on the bottom corner of the photo, the metadata sat in quiet gray. Shot by Sean Ward. Timestamp 11:03 a.m. 03/02. Studio 3B. I didn't say anything over the image. Didn't play music. Didn't drop credits. I just let the silence sit. Long enough for anyone watching to remember that before the edits, the headlines, the curated breakdown, there was someone else behind the lens. Someone who never asked to be the face. Someone who never needed the spotlight. Just someone who built something quietly and got erased for it. When the screen finally cut to black, the last caption appeared. Plain white text. I never stole her spotlight. I just lit it before she turned around. The video ended. No links. No next episode. No donate button. I closed the tab. Checked the drive. 1 folder left. Archived. Locked. I didn't need to open it again. Some truths don't have to be repeated. They just have to outlive the lie.